Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next installment of Dancing with Decimals, or in this case, it might be Dancing with Division, because we're just going to look at whole number division right now. We're not going into decimals yet. This is something you should already have seen in the Learn Zillion video that you were assigned already, and you should have already seen in class when we did the Lifesaver activity. So this is a follow-up to the Lifesaver activity so that you guys have a reference to help you when you're working through learning the traditional algorithm for long division. Okay. So you have 1,368 Lifesavers that you need to distribute to 12 stores. How many Lifesavers does each store get? So to start off, obviously we know we're going to take 1,368 and divide it by 12. So remember, if we had our Lifesavers, we've got single Lifesavers, rolls of Lifesavers, boxes of Lifesavers, and crates of Lifesavers. So the 1 in the 1,368 represents that big crate, right? One of these of 1,000 Lifesavers because it's got 10 boxes in it. Remember, that's a box. And each box has 10 rolls in it. And each roll has 10 Lifesavers in it. So there's a times 10 and a times 10 and a times 10. So our big crates represent the 1,000 Lifesavers. So we know we have one of those crates because the 1 is in the thousandths place. So the first thing I ask myself is, can I take this big box as it is, as a box, and split it into 12 pieces, split it into 12 equal groups? And I can't because it's one big solid object. Before I can split it into groups, I have to sort it into the smaller boxes that contain the rolls of Lifesavers. And I know that there are 10 of those in my big crates, right? So if I trade in my one big crate for 10 smaller boxes, I'll have 10 boxes plus the extra 3 boxes that I would have already had because I had one big crate and then 1,368, I had 3 groups of 100 already because when I went to that storeroom, I had one big box, one big crate, 3 boxes, 6 rolls, and 8 individual Lifesavers. That's what our 1,368 represents. So I can't break my one big box, but if I trade that for 10 smaller boxes and add in the 3 boxes that I already had, then I have 13 things, and I can divide 13 things into 12 groups. So if I divide 13 things into 12 groups, one of these boxes is going to go into each group. And I'm going to use up 1 times 12. I've got 1 in each group. I've got 12 groups. 1 times 12 is 12. And I'm going to have 1 left over. So I have one of these boxes that represent 100 left over. And because I only have one of them, I can't split it into 12 groups unless I then go ahead and split it into rolls. Okay? So this this represents one group of 100, but I want to change it for my rolls, which are groups of 10. So one group of 100 is going to be 10 rolls, and I'm going to add to that the 6 rolls that I already had, and that's going to give me 16 rolls, because remember I had one large crate, 3 boxes, 6 rolls, and 8 single Lifesavers. So now I've changed my one big box for 10 rolls, and I've added the 6 rolls that I already had. So now I have 16 rolls, which I can distribute between 12 groups. And if you think about it, if I'm going to distribute those 12 rolls among 16 groups, 1 roll is going to go in each group. 1 times 12, I've got 1 roll in each group, 12 groups, and I'm going to use up 12 rolls of Lifesavers. I only have 4 left, and I can't fill those 12 groups with only those 4 without doing some exchanging again. So I've got 4 rolls left over, okay? Because I used up 12. I had 16 of them. I used up 12, and I have 4 left over. So, but again, I've got 4 rolls. I can't distribute them among 12 groups unless I change them for individual Lifesavers, which is the last thing I'm going to do, right? And each one of these rolls has 10 Lifesavers in it. So in fact, 4 rolls is 40 Lifesavers plus the 8 Lifesavers that I already had. So now I have 48 Lifesavers. And I'm going to distribute those into 4 groups. And little bells should be going off in your head. Ding, 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 ding. Wait a minute. Isn't 48 divisible by 12? Yes, it is. 4, if I divide 48 into 12 groups, I know that there's going to be 4 of those Lifesavers going into each group. So 4 times 12 is 48. And if I subtract, I have no Lifesavers left over, which is great, because who wants to split up Lifesavers to send into a company? So there were 12 boxes each. There were 12 retail shops you have to send them to. Each retail shop is going to get 114 Lifesavers. So let's just do one more extra practice together, and you may want to do this along with me as I do it on the sheet. So let's get rid of all this. And I'm going to do the problem. Let's do a nice short one. 195 divided by 13. Okay, this is a nice 2-digit one, or a nice smaller one, 3-digit by 2-digit. So same thing, right? You can imagine we've got this 1 in the hundreds place represents that one box of 100 Lifesavers. Not the big crate, just the box. So we've got one box, we've got 9 rolls, so we've got 9 of these rolls, and we've got 5 single Lifesavers. That's what we have to start with. Make this one a little skinnier so it doesn't look like a big box. There we go. Okay, so that's what we have to start with. Now, I can't take this one big box, right? I need to split it into 13 groups. I can't split that one big box into 13 groups unless I take out the rolls and change everything into rolls. So I can't split that box. So I can't put anything in the hundreds place because no groups of hundreds go in. If I split it into 13, there's no situation in which I can split those among 13 groups. So what I have to go then is change my one box of Lifesavers for 10 rolls. Plus, I've got the 9 rolls that we already have. So now, that's my 19, right? This is my one big box, which is 10 rolls, plus the 9 rolls that I already have. And I can, right? I can take 19 things and split them among 13 groups, right? I know, okay, well, 1 is going to go in each group, which uses up 13, and I'm going to have 6 left over. So I can't split those 6 rolls up into 13 groups without changing them for individual Lifesavers. So if I've got 6 rolls and each roll has 10, so that gives me 60, plus the 5 I had to start with, right? There were the 5 over here. I add those on. That's called bringing down the 5. I have those on. Now I can actually go ahead and do that. And so 65 and 13 is a little bit tricky. If you were figuring out how many Lifesavers would need to go into each of your 13 groups. Well, if you did 1 in each group, that would be 13. That's not big enough. 2 in each group would only be 26. That's not big enough. Let's double that. So we'll do 13 times 4. 13 times 4 would be 52. Still not big enough. So let's see. 13 times 5 would be 65. So, oh, great. I know perfectly. If I split 65 things into 13 groups, 5 is going to go into each group. 5 times 13 is 65. We use up all 65 Lifesavers that we have, and we have none left over. Okay, I hope this helps. Work on your sheet with the 4 problems on it, and you can watch this while you're doing it and hopefully work through those problems.